I know. Well, this is what a producer's for, but I got nobody with me today. And then, so now the microphone, you just want to get right up to the microphone so you can pull it towards you. Don't be afraid. It's not going to...
Is this okay?
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I can hear me.
Yeah, you can hear you. Is it too loud?
No.
Too loud, too quiet? Your headphones, everything good?
I think everything's good.
Okay, good. I'm going to just bring your gain up a touch there. Okay. All right, good. All right, I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, is the audience ready? All of our patrons watching now? Now 10 of them.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, God, the audience is growing. The
Double
audience
digits.
is growing. Everybody talking about the ice that they got. Okay, but everybody's well. No one has skidded off the road or anything. Trying to keep my pipes from freezing. A lot of people, oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Can't wait for spring. All right, let's get this puppy started. Here we go. I think I have everything. Let me see. It's recording in the back. It's recording up here. We're broadcasting there. I think we're okay. Let's go.
From the Gettysburg Museum of History Studios, you're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this episode of Addressing Gettysburg. Today, we are talking to Jackie Spainhour, who is the president of the Gettysburg Foundation, which is a partner in a public-private partnership with the National Park Service here at Gettysburg. They run the Visitor Center. They own the Visitor Center, right? And they run it, and they do a whole bunch of other things that we're going to get into. But Jackie just hit 1 year as the president here. And as we've done before, and will continue to do as long as people are willing to come on the show, we like to introduce you to the people around here who are making a difference in various ways, and Jackie is one of them. And welcome, Jackie, to Addressing Gettysburg.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'll bet you are.
I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
I know. Well, we had lunch a few months ago,
Yeah,
and I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation.
I did.
I hope you did.
I did.
Good. I've been told that, so
Yeah.
I know you're not lying.
You have a really good voice.
Thanks.
This is great for podcasting.
Isn't it funny though when we're not talking on the microphone?
It's different.
You're not even saying that, right?
I know.
Yeah.
It's the mic.
It's all tricks.
It is.
And smoke and mirrors. And anyway, so the Gettysburg Foundation.
Yes.
Let's start with that, because one of the things that we've talked about is since you've started, one of the common responses that you get when people ask you what you do and you say, "Oh, I'm the new president at the Gettysburg Foundation," they go, "What is that?" And so, what is that?
Well, I certainly get that response a lot. And I think that's because there's a lot of people and organizations in this space trying to be helpful to the park. So we are the official nonprofit philanthropic partner of the Park Service here in Gettysburg. We own and operate the Museum and Visitor Center, like you said. We also help in the community with a couple of different properties. We own the Children's Museum of Gettysburg, which is right down the street from where we're recording this.
Right.
We also own the train station, the original train station that Lincoln came on for the Gettysburg Address, which is a really neat place, especially as now we're in 250, so it's a cool place to be.
Yeah.
And then the Spangler Farm and Field Hospital as well, which is the story of a family, but also the story of the many men that really were wounded and hurt in battle. So
the
it's a cool
Spangler
place.
Farm, not only do you own it, you guys definitely, or not definitely, but you guys, this is before you got here, but were responsible for restoring it.
Oh, yeah. I say we were responsible for restoring it, but honestly, it's the volunteers. We have so many volunteers that really paved the way for not only the backbreaking work of getting that done, but raising the funds to do it. So the foundation historically has really been raising funds based on the projects that the park identifies that need the most help, and then we go out and seek funding for that. That's something I'm trying to do more of in the future. I think we all know the state of what's going on with our parks right now. Gettysburg is no different.
Right.
They're historically underfunded, historically understaffed. It's not going to get any better even in the best of situations. They're going to always need someone like us that can assist. So for the foundation, our role really is to figure out where we can make the biggest impact for them and make sure that we understand what their needs actually are. It's not our it's not our place to say, you park, you need this. They are the experts. They know.
Yeah.
They know what needs to be fixed.
And they turn to you guys, and you turn to the public and say, hey, the park needs our help.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that overwhelming, well, maybe not overwhelmingly, but maybe most of the responses that the foundation would get to that appeal to the public are positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they understand that the park has a budget.
Yeah, they understand.
That doesn't really grow.
But I think fundamentally, donors and supporters, they don't want to fund maintenance. It's not something that gets their juices going, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
They want to fund the shiny new toy, the shiny new project. But unfortunately, we're in a position where we need to fund maintenance. We need to fund general things. The foundation over the past couple of years has really taken on things like lawn mowing.
Yeah.
The unsexy things that just need to get done just so that the battlefield is a place that people can come and visit. And, our park partner here also runs the Eisenhower Historic Site. So, and that often is a story that gets overlooked because it's Gettysburg. You think of the battle, right? But that's another space that still has maintenance issues that's going to need to be taken care of over the next couple of years, HVAC and things like that.
And the foundation is partnered with Eisenhower too. It's not just Gettysburg National Military Park. It's Eisenhower as well.
We are the official partner to the Park Service in Gettysburg, so that includes those two spaces.
Okay, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a lot to help with. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's not cheap.
No.
And that's not something where it's like, okay, this year we need, X millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. But once we get that and we get these things taken care of, we can coast for 5 years, because next year there's going to be brand new problems that one or both of the sites are going to have and need help with.
Yeah.
Right?
There's no coasting.
No.
There won't be any coasting.
It's constant need for money.
You think about your own house. If you own your own house, it doesn't matter how much you put away, something fails. Mm-hmm. You've got to start over somewhere in certain places. We have a battlefield that is visited by hundreds of thousands of people that even, best intentioned, getting out on the battlefield, there's still people that are going to be walking off the paths. Mm-hmm. And that creates a maintenance issue. We want you to come and visit, right? But the park might have to figure out a way to fix a new human-made path that maybe wasn't there historically. So
maybe they should plant spikes in the ground so we'll step on them. And
no, we don't want to do that.
Okay.
We don't want to do that.
I was just thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
One of the questions I know we're going to get, we wrote it down as one of them, and one of the people watching now just asked this, so I'm going to get it out of the way now.
Does it start with Klingel?
It does. And it ends with farm.
Farm.
What do you know about the Klingel farm? What's the latest? They want to know. Any updates?
I can tell you what I know, which isn't much. So I can tell you that we have ended our fundraising on it as the park partner. We have secured funding for the park as asked.
Can you say how much you've secured?
We're about $500,000.
Okay, good.
Is where we are. And so with that money, we're using it for the design phase, which is what's been asked of us, for them to be able to figure out the best way forward with Klingel. But that's as far as we've gotten with our park partner and communications on that. So as soon as we have something to share, we'll share it. But, this is the way partnerships work, is that we each have a role to play. We fulfilled our role.
Yeah.
So we're waiting to hear from our partner what's next.
The Klingel, a lot of people do ask about that. Even to me, like, I know anything. And I'm like, what
you
the
know
hell
everything.
do I know?
What are you talking about, Matt?
But I'm not at liberty to say some things I know. But I don't answer them because I don't know really, last time at lunch is, you told me whatever the latest was at that point, and literally by the time we walked out the door, I forgot everything that you said about the Klingel farm. But that's because I understand. I think you explained to me that there is a process to that. It's not as simple as let's get the money and then hire guys from Lowe's to come in and fix it.
No.
Like the park has to follow very specific guidelines. You can't just get anybody to fix a place like that. And there isn't a guy who knows how to fix a place like that on every corner. Right. You've got to probably bring somebody in from another part of the country or something, right?
And the government itself has very specific ideas about what they can and cannot use. They have very specific red tape of who they can use, when they can use them, prevailing wage. There's so many things in place that are supposed to be safeguards to ensure that money's being used properly. But there's also differences in opinion, right, on preservation and what preservation means. And So, that's the park's lane. They get to make that decision. They get to decide what it means to them, how Klingel is going to be used in the future. And I know their site is always focused on interpretation and making sure that people have access to it and whatever that means. So for them, they're making those decisions right now. But unfortunately, I am not privy to that yet.
Right.
So I can't share.
Once they do, you've raised the money.
Right.
So it's there and it's ready for them once they know what they want to do with it.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
So then it's really just up to the wheels of government and bureaucracy to move and do its thing. And then eventually it will.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
Okay. So personally though, you, why Gettysburg? You live here. But what brought you here?
So I live here now. I moved here about a year ago at the time to take this role.
Where were you before?
I was in D.C. So I was in.
So you could have commuted.
I hate commuting. Also,
I'm not saying it's
city
wonderful.
life is not for me.
No, I'm with you.
It's
I'm
not for
completely
me
with you.
At all. I'm very much. I'm from like Southern Virginia. I love the country and. I was actively seeking to find something that felt a little bit more comfortable for my family. I have 2 boys and my husband, and we wanted to be somewhere that felt more tight-knit, but also felt like a space that really was full of history.
Yeah.
And so I started,
this is it.
I started at historic houses in Norfolk, Virginia, and I ran a historic house, 19th century historic house there. Did that for about 5 years. And then I moved up to DC and I ran Historic Congressional Cemetery in DC, which was an awesome, awesome job. And I loved that. But DC was not for me for a lot of reasons. And so then we relocated up here for this role. And now we live in Gettysburg, love it. It's definitely a small community vibe, which we love.
It is.
It's nice to see how many people here, identify with this space in so many different ways. And I think I'm sort of the interesting new person in this role because I am not the traditional Civil War buff. That's not how I came to this. I actually came to this because my interest is in death and dying and mourning practices.
Yeah. What did you do before this?
Yeah, so I ran a cemetery. So I I definitely don't always lead with the fact that I have an obsession with death when we're talking about what I'm interested in. But
what exactly though is your obsession with death? Because I think we might be on the same wavelength here.
There's 2 things. One, just existentially, what happens when we die? That's always been a question. I find it fascinating, and all the different ways that we discuss it and all the narratives we make up about what could be next. It's just fascinating to me. Yes. But what actually, in a more of a less elusive kind of way, what interests me about death and dying is how we think about memory and how we memorialize those people that we've lost. And that's actually what drew me to Gettysburg, because the amount of loss that this space felt is monumental.
Yeah.
And the way that people had to mourn those that they lost, sometimes not having a body to bury, maybe not knowing what happened to that person. And with all of the sort of academic work I've done around 19th century mourning customs and how we find ways to help ourselves through it that might just seem bizarre.
Yeah.
Why were we putting all of our stationery in black rimmed envelopes 100 years ago? Because it made us feel better.
Right.
How do we deal with it?
But there were also like periods of mourning, right? And phases to those periods. One of the ladies I was sitting next to at the church when we were extras on Bo Brinkman's movie. And we're sitting there and I said to her, I go, so am I supposed to be like your husband or something? Like, what are we? And she goes, no, because I'm in mourning.
I'm in mourning.
And I was like, well, how the hell am I supposed to know that? She's like, what I'm wearing. And I go, well, how do I do? Like, it wasn't all black.
No. There's different shades for different amount of time.
Exactly. And she goes, well, that's first morning or whatever, And I'm like, what are you, are you Kevin and Pam with first breakfast and second breakfast on The Office? But like, yeah, I didn't realize that there were stages of mourning, and you would wear something to indicate that to people, and
You
there
would
was
dress your house up too in certain ways.
Yeah, and I just think that's screaming for attention.
Oh yeah.
I think that's really all that is. You just want sympathy.
Yeah.
And you want people to go, oh, Mrs. Flanders or whatever. I think that's what that is. Or is it? What is it about for real?
The snide part of me says, well, now people know you're on the market, right? So you're taking the 19th century. You're a woman with 3 kids and your husband just died. You'd have to wait the appropriate amount of time, but you're back on the market, right? Men, interestingly enough, they only had to mourn for, I don't know, a tenth of the time women had to mourn.
Well,
so
we could be killed at any moment.
They could just turn around and get a new wife, and it was fine.
Yeah,
it was
sure.
fine.
Well, we're not the virtuous ones.
Well, yeah.
But okay, so I think though that is probably, you're not just being snide there. I think that is legit. Like you're as a woman in that time or any time before that, I guess. You're a widow. Like what? It's not like you're going to go get a job and become the president of a nonprofit, right?
Nope.
You can't do that. It's not there for you.
Nope.
So you've got to let people know, hey, when this is over, come and get me, boys.
Yeah. I mean, your job is
that.
Yes. Your job is, as a woman in the 19th century, is to run your household. I mean, of course, to make babies, but then run your household, right?
So after the babies are made,
you're running your own little chiefdom there in the household, and that's how women start to first have power, is running their houses.
Well, and so you became interested in that stuff, but how about like there's now this may be a little too morbid and macabre, but like
no such thing.
I follow a couple of mortician
like
people
Ask
on
a Mortician.
Yes, Ask a Mortician, and this other one, I forget her name.
Yeah,
they're both great, like and very informative and fascinating. Oh yeah, how we dealt with dead bodies and death in general over the years.
Yeah.
And one of them makes the point, and I adopted this point because I agree with her, we are so detached from death.
Yeah.
And I would argue that we're detached from actual life, like real life,
Yeah.
Because we don't have to live off the land anymore. We don't have to worry about, like, if I break a bone, am I going to have to get my arm lobbed off? Like, if it's too bad, I'll just go to the ER. If I get a cold, I'll go to the urgent care and they'll give me some bullshit prescription that won't do anything anyway. My point is, we're so detached from all this stuff.
Yeah.
But, grandma dies in 18 whatever, and she's sitting in your living room. Well, she's laying in your living room for a number of days, and you're sitting there staring at her, and people are coming by and saying, hey, it's too bad, whatever. I
wish we'd go back to it.
I kind of do too. Like, as soon as somebody dies now, it's whisk them away.
Well, it also, death being that elusive thing that we've adopted now makes killing, the act of killing, murder, war, any loss around that, we don't feel it in the same way.
No, we don't.
Because we are not the ones taking the body, washing the body, dressing the body, doing a viewing, doing a funeral, burying, cremating. We pay people to do that. Well, if we outsource that. That's too much for us.
I was just going to say, like in the typical American fashion, we outsource everything.
Yeah.
Not just our jobs.
Yeah.
But our death and our taking care of our loved ones. It's almost like they stop becoming a loved one once they're inanimate. Once the life is out of their body, we don't see them again until they're done up to look like a clown. They don't look like they did in life. Right? I never understood that. Yeah. They don't look anything like what they did in life.
Full of chemicals.
Yeah, chemicals and wax and all this. And we look at them laying there in a box in a funeral home, which is made to feel like your front parlor. It's a funeral parlor. Why not just do it at the home? People have a weird thing with death now.
They do. Well,
but they didn't back then.
When I was at the cemetery.
Yeah.
I may have shared this with you when we had lunch, but it's an active cemetery.
Yeah.
So I was burying people. So that wasn't something I necessarily had click in my brain when I took that role. But
you're out there with the shovel.
I helped
digging.
I didn't dig. So full body burials, you use equipment because
so it's
you
not
will
like the
just
old
heal
days.
over yourself. Yeah. But I did dig a couple holes for cremations. I did funerals for families. It was also a green burial site, meaning that you could be buried in a shroud, just the body in a shroud.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
So-
have you ever seen that way of burying where they kind of throw you in the root sack of a sapling and bury you that way, and then you become the tree?
So that's kind of a myth, Matt. I mean, it's a real thing, but it's kind of a myth.
Okay. So you mean the tree doesn't turn into Matt?
Well, no, I mean that the sapling thing doesn't exactly exist. So if a couple of years back in DC, there was a whole exhibit about this, where they were talking about new ways of dealing with death and what do we do with bodies. And that technology is a little far away. You would think it's not technological, but
really.
It is in its own way.
Okay.
The way that they would market and sell and get those things out to production for consumers to use them, we're not there.
Gotcha.
Right now, interestingly, the new thing is human composting, where they can turn you into soil.
Oh, gross.
And it's legal in some states. I actually had a good colleague and friend at Congressional that led the charge in Maryland for that to get legalized. It's legalized now. So
how does
you could
that
be soil.
process work?
Basically, they turn you with other organic material over a period of time, and you decay in there and become soil.
Bones too? Or they
I don't know about the bones.
those?
I'm actually not sure.
They let the flesh decay.
Yeah. And then,
sorry, ladies and gentlemen, this is not what you signed up for today.
Welcome to my funeral podcast.
Yeah, right.
So it's a really cool process. You can do all sorts of different things now, and I think there's you can become a diamond. You can have your ashes become a diamond. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
You can become all sorts of different things. So when I was at Congressional, because we were a green burial site, and because the greenest way to be put in the ground is for people to put you in the ground with their bare hands, I did that a couple times.
Really?
So I've been really close to death in that way.
You've actually shrouded the body.
Yeah, I've actually held. It was.
And this was at the Congressional Cemetery?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It's in D.C.
Yeah.
I also attended an autopsy while I was in D.C.
That would be something.
That was fascinating.
Really?
The medical students were dropping like flies, but me and my staff were like, whoa, this is so cool, just really neat.
I'm fascinated by autopsies and how they're able to figure things out.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I want to see an autopsy. I've seen enough to know, that's some ghastly stuff, right?
Yeah. It's amazing how quick your brain blocks it out, though.
I know because it's not an apple to apple thing, but my cousin, he had to be autopsied when he died, and he had overdosed, and my aunt. The funeral director was like, you might not want to
be here.
Have it be open casket. Because it was like a week before they could get to him.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, he doesn't really look like himself. And she goes, no, I want his stupid friends to see what this does. All this she's trying to. And I wish she had listened to, because he didn't look anything like himself. And I know how an autopsy goes, and I know why his face didn't look like his face.
Yeah.
And his hairline wasn't where his hairline was.
Yeah.
And it's ghastly and shocking in the moment, but you're right. You forget. I can't picture it now. I can't picture what he looked like. I just remember the way he looked when he was alive.
Now think about what you're describing right now, and think about men on the battlefield.
Oh, yeah.
That's my fascination.
Yes. Go. Good. I like this. Go with it.
How are people reacting to the death around them?
Yeah.
Are they internalizing it? Is it causing them to go back and become changed men? When I was in grad school, one of my programs 10, 15 years ago, I had a colleague who was doing research on PTSD in the Civil War, which is now something that's talked about a little bit more. But 15 years ago, no. It felt so novel.
Right.
Talking about PTSD.
Especially in previous wars.
Right.
Right? Because it's something that we think is...
Analyzing letters written home and seeing if they're... affectation changed, if the way they're addressing their spouse changed. It's just so fascinating to me, the human psyche and how we adjust.
Oh,
to
me
this.
too.
Yeah.
Have you read Pathway to Hell?
Yes.
Okay, so with Angelo Crapsy's letters and everything, and how he just declines throughout. Yeah, that's fascinating to me.
Have you read Drew Gilpin Faust?
I have thumbed through.
Okay, well, go back and read it. Give it
And
a good
I've
read.
saw the documentary, Death in the Civil War.
Okay.
Very depressing.
Well,
But fascinating. I mean,
I'm a depressing person to hang out with, Matt, so we could talk about this all day.
No, I mean, I could talk about this stuff all day too. I'm very fascinated by it. And actually, before we get too far away from it, going back to mourning, one of our listeners, Matt Gillespie, says a widow in mourning was also a person who was in need of charity.
Yeah.
So that might be another reason why you're advertising it. It's not just because you're going to be on the market one day.
That's true.
So
That's very true.
Maybe we should be a little more fair to the widows of the past.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt, for keeping us
Keeping us good.
honest or
And
whatever
honest.
the word is I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So okay, so you do all the death stuff. You're fascinated with the death stuff. You're down there at the cemetery, and so is that, what is the Congressional Cemetery? Is that like for Congress?
No, it's a misnomer. It's like a colloquial term. So
Okay.
it dates back to 1807. It was the first national little inn, not like Arlington, but national inn that it buried people in the nation's capital.
I see.
Cemetery. There are Congress folk buried there. Actually, Matthew Brady's there. So all of our Civil War buffs listening, you should go see him. He's there. J. Edgar Hoover's there. Down the pike.
Was he buried in a dress or was he buried?
He was not.
in a
However,
suit? Okay.
about 10 people down from him is Clyde Tolson, and about 10 people, his supposed friend, and about 10 people down from him is Leonard Matlovich, the first openly gay man in the military who came out on the cover of Time magazine and chose to be buried there because it was near Hoover.
Interesting.
Because it was like his final middle finger. The end of life.
To Hoover?
To Hoover.
Oh,
Yeah,
to Hoover. Because he was investigating suspected homosexuals.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So it's really fascinating. This whole, microcosm of crazy human history over at Congressional, there's some really interesting people there.
That is fascinating. And okay, so then from there you come here and
To another cemetery. Yeah.
Another place of death and decay. And
this is so uplifting. I'm just really happy we're talking about this.
that's what we do here. We talk about really uplifting things.
Yeah.
But no, so you come here, but no background or interest in the battle prior to coming here?
Not in the minutia of the battle. No, the concept, yes.
Yeah.
Knowing it's the turning point, knowing Lincoln and his, relationship with Gettysburg from those spaces. I've always been really interested in Lincoln, so I think that might be another sort of doorway into how I got into Gettysburg. But most of my background has really been in civilian life, so this was certainly a different thing. I actually wanted to do this because this was going to be a learning curve for me. This was going to be such a challenge.
I like that.
I don't. If you were to talk to some of the people I've worked with and my friends, they were like, "You're going where?" And you're not a Civil War, historian. I said, "No, but everything that I learn about that space is going to inform why the things after it happened."
Yeah.
So for me, it's like putting the pieces of the puzzle together. It's allowing me to really understand the effect of Gettysburg on that larger historical 19th century narrative that just fascinates me. So this is a piece for me, and this is a lot of reading. It's a lot of learning from other people. When Wayne Motts was at the foundation, I could listen to him all day.
Yeah.
Just listening to the amount of information that he has managed to acquire in his role, in several different historic places, but also as an LBG. It's just fascinating to me and everything.
They don't. And that's the beauty of it all, is you can really spend, as long as it stays interesting to you, you can spend the rest of your life working here and learning more about the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people that I get bored if I feel like I know more than everybody around me. And this is a great opportunity for me to be the dumbest person in the room. I get to go and sit and listen to everybody who knows way more about this than I do and be able to use that as a way to inform some of my other interests, and then be able to tell them about things, my crazy interests, that maybe they don't know a lot about.
I actually think that's a good approach to the whole thing. I found that coming to grips with the fact that you're a perpetual student, and then using that to help others who are students of a subject, actually kind of works to your advantage in many ways. And I don't know, I'm speaking solely for myself here, but I'm assuming that there's other people who agree with me. They just maybe don't know it yet, or they haven't spoken it. But I am kind of getting sick of, whatever you want to call it. I've heard some people call it ivory tower history or history from on high, where it's the same old, here's the podium, there's the audience, and here's the person giving us history, lecturing us.
Lecture situation.
Yeah, the word lecture alone, it turns people off, right? Yeah. I mean, unless you're really into this stuff. And I love the subject. I can still sit through a lecture, but I think there's so many more effective ways. If you truly want people to learn, and if people in the audience truly want to learn, there's other ways. A lecture works, I think, for the vast majority of people, because they're still a thing, right? Nobody has come along and challenged it or changed it up to this point. So that means it still works on the whole, right? And it's probably the most effective way to get through to people, because most people fell into the role of student very easily. And it's like, you do what the teacher says and blah, blah, blah. And then you just carry that like we're all trained, right? Yeah. But then there's people like me who was like scratching his eyes out in a classroom, right? Dying, but I still wanted to learn. I still wanted to know. It's just your way of teaching me is not getting through to me. And I had such a hard time with school because of that. And so now that I'm an adult and I can educate myself, I seek out ways that are outside the box. And there's not many of them. So I'm trying to create them instead. But like being a student and admitting that you're still learning, I think is a really good way to approach all this stuff, because most of the people who are going to support you are also learning. And they don't want to support somebody who's already in the promised land. Yeah. They want to support somebody who's still got to cross the River Jordan. I don't know if I'm if I'm mixing up all my biblical metaphors, but but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah. I mean, so my training, my graduate, degree training, I have one in history, and that was focused on the 19th century. So it included the Civil War, but focused on the 19th century. And then I have one in nonprofit administration, and that's the nonprofit administration is where I've learned the tools to be able to do the job that I need to do. But having that history background and loving history and wanting to learn from it is allowing me really to just try new things. And I'm young enough that I can try to absorb new information. Yeah. So I'm really excited about what Gettysburg is going to teach me, what I'm going to absorb, what my, as Bethany would say, what my nerdiness here is going to be. What's the thing that I'm going to take away from Gettysburg that's going to stick with me forever, as it has with so many people, our members, our donors, visitors that I talk to. It's fascinating to hear from them, when their love story with Gettysburg began.
I'd be curious to, like, 5 years to check back with you on the subject of what interests you, because I wonder if what might have been interesting to you upon taking the job is still going to be, like, what was it, the cemetery?
It was the cemetery, but now that I've been here a year, I actually think my current interest is in the monumentation on the battlefield.
See, already it's evolving.
So I'm really interested, because again, memorialization is my, that's my thing. Yeah. Why did certain artists get the commissions to do certain pieces on the battlefield? And I don't think I fully understood the breadth and depth of that monumentation until I took several battlefield guide tours with people who know much more than I do. Yeah. And was able to absorb that information. So I don't know, 5 years from now, maybe it will be Britt Eisenberg's rocks on the battlefield. Who knows? Like, I know he just gave a lecture on rocks last year, so who knows what it's going to be.
But that's the thing with Gettysburg, and I'm sure there's, to a lesser extent, there's all this stuff at other historic sites. You get the people who just become obsessed with it, and then they take another obsession in their life, like rocks, and then apply it to this place or whatever, right? But here at Gettysburg, like, every time I think, okay, everybody has done it all, another person comes out and is like, well, what about this perspective? I'm like, I've never thought of that.
Yeah.
What about water lines that run through the park? Whatever. It's some weird thing that they found interesting and did the research on, and then suddenly now it's interesting to me.
How many people bird watch?
Oh God, I know. I know.
Their
I'm
obsession
jealous
is
of
birding.
those lenses they have on their cameras. They're as long as my leg. It's like, those are like $20,000 lenses.
Yep.
What do you do for a living?
I don't know.
You're getting that
Must
kind
be
of lens.
retired.
Must be, but that's a lot to spend on a lens. And then they got another one strapped to their back. Yeah, no, people bird watch. Well, that's the thing about the park is you've got a lot of layers of interest here. You've got, obviously the battle, but you've got park history. You've got the military use of it after the battle with like World War I.
That was
and
fascinating to me. I didn't know about that before I came here.
Most people don't.
Listen to Dr. Jared Frederick talk about that and was completely enamored. So that's another thing I'm really interested in now.
Yep, and geology is another one. When Bo Brinkman was making the Gettysburg Christmas movie, I took a couple of the actors around the battlefield, and one of them, Tom Vera is his name. He is by education and training a geologist. And so he's like, when we went down to Devil's Den, he's like, oh my God, this is so, like, he was loving it for the geological reasons. And I said, oh, go. So you're a geologist. Like, what are we looking at here? Like, tell me what this is. And he told me, and I forgot. But
because it wasn't your special interest.
Exactly. No, basically what he was saying was that the Devil's Den clump, if you were to strip the soil from all of Houck's Ridge, it would all look like that.
Oh.
That's what he said. It's like, it's not just there. And he said that they look like they came up from under. They weren't pushed down by a glacier or anything like that. That's what he says. But I'm like, I don't think that's the park's version of it.
Interesting.
And I couldn't remember what the park's version of it was.
I don't know what the park's version is, but I haven't heard that one. So.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know. I don't know if he's right. I don't know if he's wrong. I don't know how to tell either way. I don't know. I'm not a geologist. I don't know how to tell who's right or who's wrong.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I just assumed they were glacial rocks that were pushed down here from somewhere else, and there they sat. And
I guarantee you Britt could tell you.
I'm sure he can.
Yeah.
I'm sure he can. And then I'd like to know his source. Was his source a geologist? Was it an actor turned geologist?
He went to school for geology.
Oh, did he?
He did. And now he's a licensed battlefield guide.
Well,
and he works for the foundation.
Okay, well then.
So he might be your guy.
When I have him on, we're talking about Buford's division sometime soon.
Yeah.
When I have him on, I will ask him what that is.
And ask him about flying airplanes.
Is he a pilot?
He was.
He was?
He doesn't like to talk about it.
That's so fascinating. Britt is like, what, 23?
Oh my gosh, no.
Like, he's like, what, 30? Not yet 40.
Not yet, I don't think. Yeah.
I think he's about to be 40.
Yeah. I think we're similar in age.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a youngin'.
He has done a lot in his life. I'm always jealous of people like that. Like remarkable people. Yeah. Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Bastard.
I know.
I like Britt a lot.
I know.
And I call him a bastard in jest. He's not a bastard. Let's see if anybody says here, let's see, 6 questions says, but I like lectures. Okay, you know, whatever. Let's see. Okay, we'll move on there. Vandalism. This is another thing that people are becoming more aware of because we're getting more instances of it.
Yeah.
They don't seem to be malicious. They just seem to be stupid or misguided, right? Like, I'm trying to think of
that. You
got the guy carving his initials on O'Rourke's face and up on top of the 44th New York monument.
Yeah.
LTR, I think it was. We never caught him, apparently.
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got the oil on,
which was very strange.
Very strange.
Also,
and
didn't seem malicious.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That seemed more like misguided, we'll say. Somebody who probably thought they were doing something nice. And I mean, if the park is right, because I think they were saying that it seems to be like some ceremonial or spiritual thing. Okay. Then if it is, then it seems to be like a misguided thing. They thought they were doing something nice.
I also think just generally there's just a fundamental misunderstanding about preservation and how you preserve outdoor things in a park setting, you know, amongst American people. Unless this is really an interest of yours.
Yeah.
It doesn't, you know, it just doesn't totally jive. And I say this because when I was working at the cemetery, people would want to do grave rubbings. That's actually really bad for the stones.
And is
but
it
you
illegal?
don't think about it. Is it illegal at the park?
To do a grave rubbing?
No, it's not illegal.
It's
just bad. It's just bad for the stone itself. I mean, it from a preservation perspective. Now, if you don't care when it decides to decay and you're an old cemetery in the back of whatever and nobody ever visits it, sure, that's fine. But it does cost a lot to deal with preservation. And I know from my experience with those particular stones, like a headstone, that's $3,000 to $5,000 to fix if something happens to it.
How many grave rubbings would you have to do to?
Oh, hundreds.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But if you're a tourist location, right, and you're trying to get tons of people in and you make it a practice,
right?
Like, you know, I just got back from Boston from a trip to Boston, and people were talking about how they would go to the cemeteries and they would do the grave rubbings, and I just didn't say anything. But I know just from having to raise the money to do the preservation work that over time it does like sort of take its toll. But again, it's just what's of value to you. How long do you expect it to be there? Like, are you in the let things decay and go back to the earth mentality and you just want to keep doing your grave rubbings and that's fine? Are you in the preserve it forever mentality? That's the park's mentality.
Yeah.
The park's mentality is preserve it forever.
Sure.
You know, they don't want to do anything that isn't in perpetuity. And so I think when you're thinking about what's going on in the park for whatever reason, we don't know why this vandalism's happening. Right. I haven't been told why it's happening. We have found no motive for why it's happening. We just don't know. It's just we stumble, you know, somebody stumbles upon it and says, here's some vandalism. I know that several.
How did they find the oil?
I don't know how they found the oil. I'm sure somebody reported it. Like when several months ago, it looked like somebody had backed their car into something that had fallen over. Do you remember? I can't remember.
Was it a flank marker?
I think so.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
And it's accidental a lot of times.
Right. I don't know that everybody's going out playing bumper cars with the flank markers, but
think so.
I do think that it almost feels to me like, you know, when you pass the same places all the time and it's a part of your neighborhood and you just sort of stop thinking about it at the level of importance that it is.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's some of that.
Oh, I guarantee you there is. Yeah. I mean, I can just tell you from, you know, I've loved this place since I came here 30 years ago. I used to dream about living here. I've moved here and away. Well, I've moved here and away and then back again. So I moved here twice in my life. And I was remarking the other day about how, like, I still love the place. I still feel like at home here. But I drive through the battlefield and it doesn't do anything for me like it used to. Mm-hmm. I don't suddenly have disregard for it. I still have all that, you know, the respect for the place and what happened there. But the thrill that it used to give me to just see a cannon in a field, right?
Yeah.
And just the sight of a cannon in a field would give me such chills and everything. But now it's a cannon in a field. Mm-hmm. And when I go to another battlefield, I get those feelings, the chills and everything, because it's a new story. Yeah. It's a new story. It's new names, new characters, new, you know, everything.
Yeah.
And so I think there is a portion of that especially if you were born and raised here. I know a lot of people just resent the hell out of everything that were born and raised here. And so I would imagine that the park to them is no different than, the park at the end of your neighborhood on a cul-de-sac that they put up for the kids with the jungle gyms and everything.
Yeah.
Maybe what the foundation and our nonprofit or Addressing Gettysburg should do is team up on a video as to, just to show people like the proper etiquette in a place like Gettysburg, because I think a lot of the things that I know, I see, and I just want to, what are you thinking, or what are you not thinking?
Yeah.
Is just seeing simple things like,
don't climb on things.
That's what it is. It's parents letting their kids run rampant and climb all over the rock walls and the monuments. And now I remember one time I complained about that on Facebook, and my cousin chimed in, and she's from Virginia, and she really isn't into history at all. But she's like, I've got tons of pictures of us as kids climbing on cannons at Manassas. And I said, yeah, we were kids. Like, we didn't know any better. Our parents should have known better. And they didn't. And she's like, well, I don't know. Like, that just wasn't a thing when we were little. And then somebody else made a point that, there's pictures of the veterans by their monument, they themselves or their children or grandchildren standing or climbing on the monuments. And some people have made the point, that's why they put them up. They want you to come here and gather around it and learn the story of what they did. And it's not disrespectful in their eyes for you to be climbing on their monument, because it's their monument. It's interacting with the place and with the thing. The point I'm making is that over time, our perspective, our way of what we think is the right way to treat these things changes.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
changes with every generation.
The thought of there being a Stuckey's and a Texaco at the peach orchard to us today is
it's like,
vomitous.
Absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely
right.
not.
But people who were closer to the veteran generation, while veterans were still alive, were building things on the battlefield for tourists. So if they, and I'm sure there were many who objected, right? But if they didn't have a problem with it on the whole, to the point where they could stop it, well, who the hell are we? Why are we so holier than thou? And so it's like, I'm always like, I'm back and forth on these things.
I see all the perspectives.
Yeah, I do too. And sometimes I side with one, and sometimes I side with the other.
Depends on the day.
I'm a Gemini, I'm a little bit of everything. So, how did we get on? Oh, memorialization. Yeah. So you've become more interested in the monuments and the memorialization and everything like that. What is there something that you've heard about, but on a very superficial level, that is got you thinking that might be the next place that you'll be more interested in?
I actually think my next thing will be diving into specific military campaigns, specific campaigns and specific leaders. I think that I need a little more understanding of the leaders, not just the tactics that they use, but the people that they were in Gettysburg. I think that's where my knowledge is the smallest right now.
Okay.
I tend to be very conceptual, as you can tell. I'm like a strategic thinker. That's sort of my bailiwick. So I get lost in the details sometimes. And so I'm trying to train myself to take in the details and retain them.
Yeah.
So I think my next step is going to be, again, taking another licensed battlefield guide tour, because I have found nothing better. And you were talking about your learning style. That's my learning style.
Yeah.
I love to read, and I can read the books over and over and over. I can't retain all of that information. I, recently took a tour with Rob Abbott, and just
he's a great
listening to him describe the smell is what sticks with me. And I'm sure a lot of the battlefield guides go over this, but hearing him as somebody who's been in war, in more modern war, has been a part of our armed services, to explain just the physical fatigue, the smell around you, how you are just starving.
Mm-hmm.
You have no sleep. I mean, just the humanity, the way that these battlefield guides explain the humanity of people we will never be able to meet and allow us to really feel that in those stories, that to me is everything. That's gold. And that's really what I think I'll spend most of my time doing, actually, is trying to get more battlefield tours.
Well, I always tell people when they ask me, like, what should we do when we come to visit? It's our first time, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't care what you do. If the only thing you do is get a licensed battlefield guide, you will have a rewarding trip here.
Yeah.
All the other stuff, museums, no offense, everything, it's great. Go to them.
Yeah.
But if you don't get a guided tour,
there's
you are
context,
gypping yourself.
There's context, and then there's experience.
Yes.
Most of our museums, just generally museums, are generally about context, putting you in the place, making you understand the events that led up to something, right?
Yeah.
The experience of being out on the battlefield, you can't duplicate that.
There's something that happens when you are standing in the place, listening to someone who is very learned on the subject tell you the story of what happened at that place and pepper it with firsthand accounts. Mm-hmm. Something happens. It's like a mind, body, soul thing all at once, right? Yeah. You're standing there and you're making that connection, and you don't make that connection from a book. Mm-mm. No documentary, no movie's ever going to do it for you. Even if they bring the camera to the place, still not the same thing, because it's an all five senses experience. And you're right, it's an experience. And that's why you have to do it with the guides, because they're great. I mean, we have them on the show all the time, because I was like, what am I going to add to this that these guys don't already do?
Yeah. Right.
So let me just put them on the show, because they're, I think, the best ambassadors that Gettysburg, whatever Gettysburg is, that Gettysburg has to the general public that comes and visits, is the licensed guides.
Yeah.
And they can take you anywhere. Mm-hmm. And they will, and if you have the time and the money, they'll
3-day tour,
spend all day. Yeah.
3-day tour.
I mean, they will. I know.
Days 1, 2, and 3. There you go.
Yeah, and they're happy to get specific if you're into that. And no, I think that's the best way to do it. And the thing is, and this is the other thing I tell people, you can't just take one and say you've done Gettysburg.
They're all different.
They're all different, and every time you come here, you have to take a guided tour. Even if you find one that you really enjoy being around, and every time you come, you get him or her, fine. But you got to take a tour every time you come here, because it's even that same person is going to think of something different at the same stop as the last time, and you're going to get something more out of it. You got to go with the guides. Yeah. Okay. So Gettysburg Foundation, we talked about what that is. You're a local.
Yes.
You love death and dying.
Yes.
And mourning culture. We have no news on the Klingel farm. It's in the park's hands now.
Yeah.
How about the future? What do you hope to? What can you share with us about? Now that you've been there a year, you've been able to acclimate yourself and really, I guess, take a look at everything around you and the situation and all that.
Yeah.
What do you want to accomplish? What do you think you can accomplish? Talk about the future.
The future. Yes. Well, let me look at my crystal ball. I think that more than anything, I really just want us to be the partner that the park needs right now. I have a lot of friends that work for parks. I have a lot of friends that work in friends groups. We started as a friends group. Yeah. We still are a friends group.
Right. We still have that.
We still have our membership program, and those people are like the lifeblood of what we do. And more than anything, I'm hoping that we will be able to raise the funds to meet the needs of what the park needs over the next 5, 10, 15 years. Because I think it's clear that the powers that be are not going to be the ones that are going to be writing the checks that are needed for the park to do what it needs to do to educate the public. So, from an overarching level, that's what I'm focused on, is what can I do to make it easier for people to understand what the park needs, why they need it, why it's important that we fund it, and what we do moving forward. Some of my wish list projects are the National Cemetery. If you go in, cemetery. But if you go in, you'll see there's several fences that are down. There's the alley of trees that used to be there. Only one part is done right now. There's several preservation projects. There's probably $25,000 worth of just like on the very front of the cemetery. The total campaign for that would probably be $25 million.
Oh my God.
It's a lot of work that needs to get done. And then you have to have skilled people do it.
Yes.
So it's more than just like asking people to write a check. We're asking them to invest in the history. We're asking them to make this place available for future generations because we don't know if it will always be available. So my hope is that we'll be able to help with the cemetery as soon as the park feels that is on their list too. David Will's house is something I would love to see come back as a space that people can visit or is open.
So what is it? What is going on with the David Will house?
It's closed right now.
Okay.
It's closed. My understanding is that there were some HVAC issues, and so the contents of the David Will's house are now in the archive at the visitor center until they figure out what the next step is. So
and is that because it used to be what? Foundation and then it's park, or is it park then foundation?
So the
Who
foundation owns it.
Okay, you guys.
I'm sorry. The park owns it.
Park owns it.
But I don't know if it was the foundation. I'm still learning our history a little bit. And I don't know if it was the foundation or another group, but there was a partnership that allowed it to sort of be open to the public, where people could come in and actually see it years ago before they had to shut it down.
Yeah.
So
how long has it been shut down?
Since I've been here, at least a year.
Okay. See, I've never gone in it.
Well, I haven't either. Not in a typical way. I haven't like visited it and gone on a tour or anything, obviously.
Yeah. I'm not proud of that fact that I haven't been in it, but it's just, parking is a real pain in the ass in Gettysburg. And, I don't know. I never went in, but also I don't remember it always being evident that it was open.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it was, I didn't have the time to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's always something.
Well, and you have to think about if it's open, somebody has to staff it.
Right.
So who's staffing it?
Not the park.
Are the conditions good for the collections that are in there? Lincoln's bedroom set.
Yeah.
Is it going to be, are the HVAC conditions going to be up to snuff to hold a collection, right? So I know, with the Eisenhower farm, at some point that is going to need an upgrade with their HVAC system as well. Mm. And, if we don't take care of those things, then we lose the site in totality. So
right.
Those are the unsexy things that have to get paid for and that aren't necessarily in the operating budget for the park every single year. But that, like your house, your water heater bursts and you hope that you have the $10,000 to fix it. Like, we're in a similar situation over at the park. And so my hope is that we will have a clear path forward on what we need to fund, the timeline in which we need to fund those items, and real reasoning of why this is important right now, like why we need to be funding this particular thing right now. I don't always want to be in crisis mode.
Yes, that must be annoying.
It's just it's anxiety producing. To always be in crisis mode. What's the next thing that we need to be preparing for? Is it a government shutdown? Is it we own and operate the Museum and Visitor Center, which is great, and we can keep it open during a shutdown.
Right.
But you're not going to see the rangers. You're not going to be able to talk to them at the desk. Something that doesn't cross everybody's mind, but we found out very quickly that people want their stamp. They want their passport.
And you can't have that out if there's no rangers.
And we can't do that because we are not Park Service. So if you don't get your stamp when you come to visit during a government shutdown, that's an issue, right? We also are not allowed, because it's not our property, to give out the maps.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm. So when somebody comes to the visitor center and they need a map, we can make photocopies.
But you can't have a pile of the maps on the information desk.
Not the park maps.
Volunteers couldn't do that either.
No.
Interesting. I did not know
So
that.
there's a lot of things, just little tiny things that happen that affect the visitor experience.
Yeah.
And all of the maintenance things that we're talking about today, right? Those affect in the long term the visitor experience. And there are things that need to get done. Maybe I don't need to go out and raise $20 million tomorrow to fix the HVAC at Eisenhower. I don't know. I don't know what that timeline is yet. But I want us as a foundation to be ready to answer the call when we're called upon. And I know we've done what we could in the past. I am looking to build up our team so that we have the people in place from a fundraising side to be able to really be the partner that they need right now and that they're going to need into the future. My crystal ball tells me they're gonna still need that for a little while.
Yeah.
And we're coming up on our agreement. Our partnership agreement will be renewed in 2028. That'll be the 20th anniversary of us owning the MVC.
Wow. I remember when that was all announced, and I remember thinking 20 years. That's forever away.
Nope, it's around the corner. It's around the corner.
Holy shit, that went fast.
We're working on the paperwork now.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's around the corner.
On the maps thing.
Yeah.
Could the foundation have its own map for moments like that?
That's a sticky wicket.
Okay.
Did you like that?
I did.
There's certain things that are intellectually the parks, right? They own interpretation, and we can create certain things, yes, but our partnership really relies very heavily on transparency and collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
If we were to do such a thing, we would not do that without talking to the park.
Oh no! Yeah.
I mean,
no,
we would
you'd
have
to.
in-depth conversations about, is this okay for something for us to use for visitors?
I mean, I would just basically copy theirs, just change enough so that it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, right?
So let's hope that we don't have to do that again.
Yeah.
Let's go there. I was concerned we might have a shutdown right now, or but apparently that's.
Are we
not
due
happening.
for another one already?
We were due for. They were going to defund DHS. There was a whole push to defund with everything going on with ICE right now, but the park side got pushed through, so it's fine.
Okay.
But there's always, you never know. You never know.
You never know. I mean, there will always be shutdowns. I think once that was introduced into the playbook, it'll always be used now for the rest of America's days. There's just always going to be there. It's a weapon to use against the people.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
It's really unfortunate. And, we're lucky in that, the park and the foundation are lucky in that we can still operate. We can still do things.
Well, I was going to say, the public, are lucky that Gettysburg has the Gettysburg Foundation so that we can at least get into the visitor center, see the exhibits, right? That stays open.
Yep.
The cyclorama, right? Because that's foundation stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's not park stuff. So
yeah,
I think
the individual, the items themselves are park.
Yeah, but I'm
the
saying,
actual access is us.
Yeah, you guys run it.
Yeah.
So I think that would be, or that's like the good thing, because there's other parks that don't have a foundation attached to it, and they're closed.
Yeah.
So I think that,
they've had to, above all, even when there's a shutdown, public health and safety has to be funded. That's why you'll see park security, the park officers.
Right.
They are still there.
Yeah.
Even during a shutdown, sometimes not being paid, but there.
Yeah.
That's real commitment. And as much as, whatever's going on politically, I think it's important for everyone to know just how seriously the park folks themselves take their job, and how the people that keep our parks going every day, it is a thankless job.
Yeah,
Let me tell you.
It is. I had a meeting, I won't say with who, but I had a meeting the other day with somebody at the park, and we were just kind of catching up.
Yeah.
And I said, so what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like he was just depressed.
Yeah.
Like, and it's a lot of stuff that, first of all, they can't tell the public.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, because it's a lot of things that I think are gonna, They're just going to change the way things are done, at least for a while. And I don't think it's necessarily, or I don't think it's for the better, to be honest with you. I think that, a lot of the things that are coming down the pike are not good for the park and everything like that. And then, and on the other hand, though, the other part of me is like, well, why am I looking to my government for my history, right?
Yeah.
Because the whole lesson of history is you can't trust your governments for information and everything, right? So why? And this illustrates it. If you can have administrations change in Washington and then suddenly the history changes, and this has happened before, well, then it's not that the history changes, but the way they want you to tell it changes. Well, then how do I know anything, right? So, but on the other hand, if we don't have that part of our government, most Americans are never going to be exposed to our history. Yeah. So we have to have that, and we have to make sure that it's done right. But then whose version of right? Oh God, it's so damn confusing. This is why I just want to win the lottery and bury my head in the sand.
Just give up.
Yeah. Just give up on a mountaintop and kiss the world goodbye.
I really, I went to the Friends Alliance conference several months ago and was able to be in the room with all the CEOs of, we're the biggest military park in the United States. And so
we're the best.
And we're the best. And so I was put in the room with like Yellowstone, like the CEO of Yellowstone, all the bigwigs, very confused. Like, how did I wind up in here? Right.
Yeah.
But I learned so much talking to the eight or nine other people in that room, because the constant question for groups like us is, where's the line? How much help is too much help? Because we want to do absolutely everything in our power to help our park, to help our park partner, the people that work there, make sure that this resource is available. We also want the government to do their job. We want to make sure that they are continuing to fund these places. And we spent 3 days trying to come up with a consensus of where the line is, and we couldn't come up with one. And every park had a different version of where the line was.
Well, that would make sense.
Right?
Yeah.
So some of the bigger parks, when some of the funding issues started happening, they had life-saving things like their medevac that were not being funded. And so the Friends group had to fund those items. They had, people who are armed police who weren't having bulletproof vests because they weren't being funded anymore. Things that, to me, are just common sense.
Yeah.
You fund those. That's
what the government's job.
Right.
Right.
So you're the Friends group. What do you do?
Yeah.
So
there can't be a general consensus because every park has a different situation.
Yeah.
Well, I get, you're right. Like, you do want the government to uphold its end of the bargain. Your job is to assist where government budgets can't. Fail. Not to replace the government's budget.
Right.
Right.
Because then we're essentially privatizing the Park Service.
Yeah.
Which is not our role. That's not our role. Our role is to be the supportive partner that assists when funding is needed, and we raise funds for very specific projects or initiatives or things that are outside the scope of regular operational, things that have to happen with the park.
Right.
So, nobody can seem to agree on the line. We are fortunate that we have not had to address the line yet.
Yeah.
But knock on wood, you never know. You never know.
So if you were king, or I guess it would be queen, a queen of the Gettysburg Foundation and not president, you can do anything you want to do.
Anything.
Within the organization. You can't make the park do, but within the Gettysburg Foundation, you're queen. What do you do?
That's a loaded question, because what I need more than anything.
What do you do that you can say publicly?
I need more fundraising staff.
Okay.
That's actually what I need.
Okay.
And I need that to be the good partner for the park.
Yeah.
We are a big employer. We have with seasonals, almost 120 people on our payroll. We're a big space. People
Yeah.
don't realize that,
No.
but it's because of the Museum and Visitors Center.
Okay.
You know, we have a full custodial staff. We have our facilities guys who take care of everything. We have our ticketing as well. You take all of our MVC, Museum Visitor Center people aside, there's more like, 30 of us that are doing the more friends-related kind of work of the park.
Yeah.
And so you're seeing maybe 3-4 fundraisers for an $18 million organization. We need more people. And we need more people for the sake of the people that work there.
Yeah, right. That's a lot to put on a
if
small...
I could wave a magic wand, I would get more people to help us do the fundraising, but also to help us do, people who are listening to this aside, because you obviously have an interest in this, right? To help us, to use one of your metaphors, spread the gospel, since we're going to church.
Biblical today.
To help us spread the gospel of Gettysburg and places like Gettysburg and why they matter, why they're relevant, especially in tumultuous times. We need these places to remind us of what's important and remind us of what can happen, what shouldn't happen, what could happen.
Yeah.
We need these places because our memories are short.
Very.
They're very short.
Very short.
And we need these places to be physical reminders of where we're going, why this place matters. And I need more people. I need to deputize more people, to go out on the road and bring this to other groups. So that's really, honestly, that's my honest answer. If I could wave a magic wand, that would be it.
That's a good answer, though. I mean, that will do a lot if you could get that.
Yeah, and we'll get there, and we'll get more people. We have a great membership team. That Bethany. So we have a great.
I know Bethany.
Yeah, Bethany.
Yeah.
So we have a really great group of people that do membership, and for a while, membership has held development on their shoulders, and so I'd like to see us expand that a little bit more, and just really see us explain who we are better. I don't know, what initially kind of branding or marketing or whatever it was we did in the beginning, but I think this space in Gettysburg has grown so much, and there's a place for everyone to be a part of what's going on. I told you this before we got on, I get asked a lot of what the difference is between us and ABT.
Yeah.
Which I think is just like hilarious because ABT is huge.
Yeah.
And they are so good at what they do, which is not what we do.
Right.
We
totally
do very,
different.
very different things.
Yeah.
So I think there's just an education piece that's kind of missing of who we are and what we do. So I will be spending the next year on a media tour, basically. I'm going all around to news desks and talking about what we do and why Gettysburg matters and why people need to invest in it. And I'll be sending out the people I'm able to deputize to go out and do other things. And the rest of my staff are going to be here holding down the fort so we can show up for the people that come into the visitor center every day. So we have a big job. We have a really big job to do, and it can feel really daunting, but I think it's the right time to be doing this job. I think this needs to happen. The park deserves it. As you said, talking to park staff, the morale is really
very
down.
Low. It's very sad too, because, I've gotten to know a lot of these people over the years, and I like them all, and we always have pleasant conversations, and they've always been great.
Yeah.
And so I'm one of these people that in some ways I have a hard time separating, like, this is somebody I know through work.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a nice person, I just kind of consider you a friend, and I offer you my friendship, right? Like, and that's just a much easier way to go about life for me.
Yeah.
And so I feel bad for them. And, but then at the same time, I have to remind myself, well, this is unfortunately how it all works, right? They're subject to these silly whims from Washington. And, but at the same time, it's like, I see how beleaguered they are, and I can hear it in their voice. And I can hear, like, it's a heartbreak for them.
It is.
Because they love the job. They love connecting with the public. They love serving the public. It's not like a lot of us in the private sector, we're like, well, salary's good, and I guess I'll take this job, and whatever. But like, it's a calling for a lot of these people.
It is,
and I see the worry on their face, and I can, like I said, I hear it in their voice, and I know when an outside force interferes with your business, your work, it is a lot of negative things all at once. All the negative feelings you could feel, they're all there. Fear, worry, anger, whatever. It's all there.
Yeah. And
that's a terrible way to be. And the longer it goes, the more uncertain it becomes. And that's even worse. And so, like, I know how they feel just having been a human being for 47 years, and it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. And so it's like anything that we can do, and I even asked in the meeting, I was like, well, is there anything that, like, in my piddly little power that I could do to help in any way? And it's like, not really. Like, there's not much. Do
you know, they say that, but I think there's something that we can do.
Okay.
And this is just me. This is my mama coming out, I think we need to shower them with love. I think they need an influx of positivity.
Like James Taylor.
Like send letters.
People. Oh.
Send pictures of your favorite time in the park and what it meant to you. A picture with a ranger.
With a ranger, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I came and saw the electric map 40 years ago. And, my grandkids, I brought them back, and just place the memories. Like, that keeps them going because they're not getting that from anybody else.
Well,
the public can give them that.
Well, and the public doesn't know just how bad it is.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Is the public,
they can't
they're not allowed to tell us. Yeah. Like, so that's the tough part.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm allowed to tell.
Yeah.
But I don't have all the information.
Yeah.
If I had a printout of all the, then that's a different story.
I don't know for certain either, but I can imagine what it would feel like to come to work every single day.
Sure.
Knowing that a lot of people don't want you to have a job. Or don't care about the work that you're doing. Or don't care
if you have a job or not.
Because a lot of these people, like you said, it's a calling.
Yeah.
Probably don't make very much. Probably have families.
Yeah.
How do you plan? Like, how do you plan your life?
You don't. You have to put everything on hold.
Fear.
Yeah.
And you live in fear.
Because you don't know. Every Friday, you're like, another Friday, I didn't get a pink slip. But then, Monday starts the terror all over again. But
you still show up. I'm just so amazed by how much they show up. And they show up completely. They show up ready. They show up with a smile on their face. They show up to do a battle walk. They push through it because they know, that they're going to outlast whatever's happening right now.
Absolutely. This too shall pass.
This too shall pass.
And if they, exactly. You got to weather the storm, but it's hard and it's scary because you could lose your job while weathering the storm.
Yeah.
But then again, somebody might come in later and say, everybody come back to work.
Right. You never know. When the shutdown happened last time, it was the weekend. They were shut down for a while, but one of the weekends was our fall muster for our members. So we do these events twice a year where you can come and, there's battle walks with LBGs. There's lectures and all those other fun things. But I put up a table at the last one, and I brought one of my children with me, and we just put out pins and note cards and just said, "Leave a note for a ranger." And I got a couple dozen of them. Not everybody stopped to do it, but I gave those over to the park, and just to tell you how much it meant to them. That somebody was able to tell them how much of an impact that they had at a time when they literally were not collecting a paycheck.
Right.
Or they were working for free because they're doing, the police work on the battlefield. Just, it meant so much. It meant so much to them. I think it's just important, like in all things, to remember that these are people.
Yes.
These are people. You may not agree with every decision that they make. They may not all be your best friends, but they're people.
Yeah.
And they're called to do this job, and it's a hard job.
And let's be honest, the National Park Service is probably the last agency of the federal government that any American has warm feelings towards.
Mm-hmm.
If they were doing this to IRS agents, we'd all be cheering, right?
No more taxes.
Right, yeah. But the Park Service, that's the one thing we like.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing you guys do well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, so yeah, I have to believe, maybe it's hoping against hope, but I have to believe that in the end, the Park Service will
prevail,
be okay.
Well, and you know, they are not alone. Almost all the parks have somebody that is me working with them, so they should have some friend group or.
So is that true that most parks have
Most of
good.
Them do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The smaller ones, maybe not so much. But
the big ones.
The big ones do for sure. I mean, there's hundreds of friends groups around the country.
Okay.
That range in size and scope. But there's also national organizations that support the parks in different ways as well. There's the National Park Foundation, which is a big national organization that raises funds to assist the parks generally and does a little bit of advocacy. But they have to skirt some of the harder issues. But if anybody, you know, listening is interested in getting into the advocacy side of things, the National Park Conservation Association is the group that does the advocacy. So a lot of times when you're reading something in the New York Times or some other news outlet that's talking about how things are affecting the park at a federal level, you're hearing from Teresa at the National Park Conservation Association, because that whole group exists to be the advocates of the parks, and they come at arguments with whatever entity is challenging the park, really from a space of data and from a space of tourism and quality of life and why the parks are so vital. And you can't argue with it. Yeah, you just can't argue with it. They're a really awesome organization. So while we're very park specific, there are other organizations that stand up for all of our parks. So it's important to know.
You know, I think one of the reasons I wanted you to come on here was, not only to introduce yourself to the audience, but also to talk more about, the foundation and how important it is to Gettysburg. And the park in particular. But you guys, you've got a lot of properties around the area, and there's a lot of stuff that you do. And I don't know, perhaps in the past the getting the word out hasn't been as good, but I think now two of our members watching right now saw you up in Boston. And they said you did a great job, and they really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you.
So, so you are, reaching out. Like you would just tell us about your trip to Boston. What was the purpose of it?
So we started this new series that we're calling Gettysburg on the Road, and it's because we recognize, this is just me from living in D.C. the past 5 years, Gettysburg's not the easiest place to get to in terms of public transit, right? There's not an airport, there's not an Amtrak station, and we realized that we're also that place that might be your bucket list destination. Like maybe you come once, you come with your family, check, I went to Gettysburg, that was great, and then you go back home, right? So we started this On the Road series where myself, one of my development people, maybe one or two other people who are on my team. Last time we brought Mike Kwolek, who does our collections at the Museum and Visitor Center, which is also a really interesting partnership because we share him with the park.
Oh.
So
who's he an employee of? You?
He's my employee, but he reports to a park person.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
So we make that work. We have another employee like that as well, because they don't have the staff to do the collections work that needs to get done. Sure. Anyway, I digress. So in Boston and in other areas around the country, we're going on the road. We're bringing Gettysburg to them. This is really, it's serving a couple of purposes. It's allowing me to get out and meet people because I only have so many hours in the day and I want to meet as many people as possible. And I want to hear the raw truth. What do you think of this foundation? What have you experienced in the past? Where have we failed you? Where can we do better? because I firmly believe you don't grow until you know. So
totally right. Yep.
I want to know all the things. And it's been really eye-opening. Even this was our first regional event, but we did a couple what we're calling local events, which means we could drive there in 3 or 4 hours.
Okay.
So we did a couple other events. We went to Baltimore and we went to Alexandria, Virginia. We were supposed to go to Harper's Ferry. That one got delayed due to snow. So there's a couple of other places we've already gone. And what I'm finding really fascinating, the appetite for Gettysburg is never satiated.
No.
People love Gettysburg, and that's great. That's great on a lot of levels, but I'm enjoying going out and meeting people. I'm enjoying figuring out what brought them to Gettysburg. And you might not be surprised to hear this, but the resounding answers to how they came to Gettysburg are almost always, I came on a field trip as a child, or I came with my family as a child. So it's some childhood experience. And I was given a book. I read a book about Gettysburg when I was a child. And those two things together are the magic potion that makes people fall in love with Gettysburg. Mm-hmm. And so as we're learning more about people's motivations and why they resonate so much with this space, it's allowing us to serve them better. We don't want to exist just to exist. We want to make sure we're actually making an impact. So this On the Road series is our way of getting out to people so they don't always have to come to us.
That's a good idea.
And we're trying to go to places that we either know we have a good grouping of members. It's a member-heavy area. Like we're going to go to Pittsburgh, right? We're going to go to Philadelphia. We're going to go to Ohio. We have a lot of members in Ohio.
What is it with Ohio?
We have a lot of people in Ohio.
But there's a lot of people who visit here from Ohio. When I ran the bike tour company, I would say it seemed to me that the bulk of our customers were from Ohio. And I'm like, is somebody advertising really heavily in Ohio? Like what brings people here from Ohio? Maybe Destination
Gettysburg.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe. Like is Destination Gettysburg really focusing on Ohio? And if so, why? What is it about Ohio? But a lot of my patrons are from Ohio. A lot of our people who come on our tours are from Ohio. What is it about Ohio and Gettysburg?
When I figure it out, I'll let you know.
Okay.
I don't know. Texas is another one. We have a lot of people in Texas. My Devo team, my development team is going down to Naples, Florida next week because we have a lot of snowbirds that go down there. Snowbirds meaning they live elsewhere, but they fly south for the winter, to avoid it.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah, me too. Oh my God, there's like 3 feet of ice outside, guys.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so people are, we're going to Florida. We've done a California trip. There's a lot of people out in California. So yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity to make this message soar and go further and really bring ourselves to people. Something else we're hearing that, I haven't been around long enough to know if this is something that continues, but I'm hearing a lot, and my team is hearing a lot, that they wish that we, the powers that be, whoever, would tell the Confederate story in equal amount, not saying that it's the right story or whatever, and an equal amount to the Union story, that they feel like they are not getting as much detail on that side, that's kind of skirted over. I don't know. I haven't been around long enough to have an opinion either way.
I think there was an overcorrection at some point because it seemed to be, from my memory, in the early days of me coming here, which would have been 96 was my first time here, I seem to remember it being Confederate heavy.
Okay.
And I think I've heard people who have been around since like the 60s and the 70s saying that the story was always kind of Confederate heavy.
Okay.
And so the fact that it's so that you're probably getting a lot of people who are used to it being that way and wonder why it's not anymore.
Yeah.
And then I think you got other people that just have a hard time admitting that their ancestor was on the wrong side of history, and
yeah,
they don't want it brushed under the rug, and they also don't want it misrepresented. But then you get into the whole, well, who's misrepresenting their story, you or us, or you know what I mean? And
yeah,
And but from my perspective, this was a Northern victory.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people say it's a turning point in the war that eventually led to Union victory. And I mean, we are in the United States of America.
Yeah.
And, you know, I kind of like to see how we won.
Mm-hmm.
I like to see how we overcame the challenges to our country.
I was just surprised to hear it. I had not had an experience to make me feel like there was an off-kilter balance.
Did you ask, well, what would you like to see that would make you feel?
Well, the response that was given was that
Shut up and sit down. Sir.
Well, the response that was given was, I just, instead of saying, you know, the Confederates came up generally, like they came this way across the battlefield, to say this person led this group to go across the battlefield and they were coming from this spot. A little more detail. It was more like that. And I thought, did you take a battlefield tour? Because they'll tell you anything you want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this was, you know, very anecdotal, but I was very surprised just to hear it generally, because I feel like our park and the guides and everybody does a really good job of giving you a very apolitical experience. You learn the details.
Yeah, but the problem is the way we are now is if you ride the fence,
mm-hmm.
then you've taken the other side. No matter which side you come, like the person comes from, the let's say the Union or the Confederate side. If you give fair play to the other side, to some people, not everybody, but to some people, that's not being fair.
Right.
That's taking a side. That's you know, giving a voice to the other side and expressing in a honest way what their position is taking their side to some people. And because I get that too with comments on certain shows that we do.
Yeah.
And we usually, let's be honest, it usually comes from one side of the Civil War. And they, you know, they'll take a fact that you don't talk about the South enough in an episode, or that you you talk about the South side and the North side of a certain argument or whatever, or the two arguments on a certain topic or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you go, well, no, I kind of agree with the North. And then it's like, you know, you're just a bunch of Yankee Lincoln liars and, you know, all this stuff. So it's all how everybody's programmed, I think. And that's the tough part. That's the tough job you guys and the park both have, is that you have to deal with Americans.
Yeah. And every other historical site in America have to hold all the truths in one little handful and find a way to share them all.
That's the danger of government getting involved in history. Is you're the government. You take everybody's tax dollars, regardless of what their beliefs are, and they're going to want to see their tax dollars reflect what they believe.
Yeah.
Whether they're believing bullshit or not, right? Right. That's what they want. And it's like, well, I mean, who's to tell them that they don't have the right to say that if they're given their money? Yeah. They're not giving their money. Their money is taken and given to the government to do these things, you know? So that's the tricky part when you get involved with that stuff, because it's like, I don't know, you can't please everybody all the time. But I think when you go through the gallery at the museum, I think that is a very fair representation of everything. I mean, you have things that Southerners were saying, and you have things that Northerners were saying as you're going through the lead up to the war and everything like that. Yeah. And to me, like, it doesn't make. I think in a war, there's no good guys, right? There. I mean, in the end, we'd like to think we're the good guys, right?
Yeah.
You know, the winner is the good guy. But in order to become the winner, you have to do some really bad things.
Yeah.
You have to do some rough things. And and a lot of that is leading up to the war. You say a lot of horrible things and you say a lot of rough things.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. And the people that try to sanitize history to the point where it's comfortable for them to listen to, I don't understand that mindset. Something happened to you around the kindergarten, first grade age where you never really learned, like, life doesn't go the way you want it to go, and it's not a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Like, it's ugly. History is ugly. War is the ugliest event in human history. Mm-hmm. So why do we have to make it pretty and palatable for people? And I don't get that.
Yeah.
But I'm weird.
Not weird.
No, I think I am. Because I guarantee you, everybody in the history institution field that would hear me say that are like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Anything before we wrap up here? Anything that you want to make sure that the audience gets, or how can they help out with the foundation?
Yeah, I think that I would love. Well, my first ask of anybody would actually be send a love note to your park. That's whatever your park is, whether it's this park or, you live near Yosemite. Or
that's a good idea. I like that idea. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on our social media. I'm going to do a video, and I'm going to encourage people to make videos when they come here of, their memory of a park ranger or something like that. I got one that I could think of right now that I'm going to do. Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that. That's
my first thing. I would love for anybody who feels so inclined to be involved with us to reach out. I'm happy to get on the phone and talk about what's going on and how people can support. We don't have any big project right now out in the ether. Right now, we're solely fundraising for operational support so that we have that when the park needs it. Because it's not a sexy time. It's not a sexy campaign time. So right now that's where our focus is. But I think those are the two things that I'd really like to see happen. I just would like to be able to connect with more people and make sure that we're showing more love to the park. So. And
what's the easiest way for somebody to donate or become a member? Is the website?
It's through the website, yeah. It's through the website, which is GettysburgFoundation.org. That's the easiest. And there's a contact form on there as well. So if you need to get to me, I'm Jackie Spainhour. You're welcome to put in a contact form request. They go to me. They'll send them straight to me, and I can get back to you if you need me. And you being here a year, but within that last year, there's been a few changes of management under you. Yeah, I almost have a brand new management team. Right. Okay. I had several people retire. It was like time to retire. I have a brand new executive assistant who I love and who's local. Her dad works in the borough. Her brother-in-law sold me my house. Okay. That's the kind of place we're living in now, right? Yeah. And so I have a new development guy, a new marketing guy as well. Britt works for me, Britt Eisenberg. He's our whole new department we created, which was community and civic engagement, which we created because we realized that all of the properties that we own and operate were sort of just getting plugged in randomly throughout the organization without any real cohesive strategy to how that was helping our broader mission and also helping serve the park as well. So now Britt gets to create the strategy, which I'm sure he's thrilled with. Yeah. And then my finance VP, she retired. And so I have a new guy that started literally this week. Oh. Who's moving here from Kentucky.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Looking for a house. And there's not much on the market.
No, so and the market's kind of weird now.
It's pretty bad. But there's a house about 5 down from me that I sent him that I think he might try to buy. So I might have a new neighbor.
So there you go. So next thing you know, the whole neighborhood's full of foundation people.
Exactly.
Well, we're gonna let you go. Okay. But when we finish for the YouTube audience afterwards, I'm going to go through the comment section here from our patrons. They've got some questions and stuff like that for you, and we'll see what we got there, right?
Okay.
But thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And I'd love to have you come on and do a live stream with us on YouTube one day where we could take calls if you'd like.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And then people can ask you questions there and you can talk about whatever. Because Jackie, ladies and gentlemen, is somebody who is open to talk to people. Right? I mean, you just said that a couple times, but she really is. And she'll listen to your ideas. She may roll her eyes as soon as you turn your back, but she'll listen to them.
I will listen.
So, this is, they help keep the park that we all love to visit going. And I don't know if it's been stressed enough over the years, maybe just how vital they are to Gettysburg National Military Park service operations. As you're saying, basic operations is what you're kind of looking to fund now. But outside of that, when things are a little better and those things are taken care of by Congress, you guys are dealing with these extracurricular projects that they would have to wait maybe a decade to get to fund, right?
Yeah, I mean, even when they get awarded money, it can take 4 or 5 years before they see the money come through.
Well, that's with Little Round Top. That was a big thing. I remember people were like, why are they closing it right around the anniversary? And the answer to that was because the money's available now. Yeah. And if we can't put it away in a savings account for 2 years and get to it when we're ready, it has to be spent this year or we lose the money. So, it's a government doesn't work the way normal life works, right? Like it's got its own things and it's got its own reasons for doing things the way they do them. Yeah. And it doesn't make sense to the average person. But I think communication to people, like Steve Sims came on and explained that at the time. He was the previous superintendent. And he came on and explained that at the time. And whoever listened understood. Yeah. And unfortunately, more people don't listen to our show than do. And so they didn't understand still in the comment sections. Yeah. But anyway, my point is, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have her on again. You can call in and ask her some questions. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed meeting Jackie and learning about the Gettysburg Foundation, and you'll assist them in any way that you can. That's it. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Okay. Now, let's see what some of the questions are here.
I'm sure they're good. There's always good ones.
Ken said, did Jackie give you a sideward look when you mentioned the Klingel farm? No.
That's a good one.
We talked about that before the show, and she's like, there's one thing, I don't really have an answer for that. And I said, well, that's the answer. So we'll give them, because people want to know. And a lot of people ask that. Matt Gillespie says, another great interview, Matt. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see.
Thank
Wonder
you, Matt.
Monkey says, not sure, but there's a frozen custard. All right, let me go from the top. I'm reading from the bottom.
Frozen custard?
I know. I'm reading from the bottom up, and that's like reading backwards. So let's see here. Okay, they're talking about ice, and they're saying they're ready. Enjoy my third straight snow. Okay, still talking about snow. Congrats on 1 year.
Thank you. That's
Ricky McWhorter. Oh, that's a new one by me. Hey, Ricky, how are you?
Hi, Ricky. Thank you.
Eric Houston says, definitely a voice for podcasting, not so much on any other attributes. He's talking about
That's
me.
about you.
When you gave me that compliment.
Yeah, that's funny.
He's always one of the first to take it away. Sometimes Grant is another one. Grant's another guy. Let's see here. Definitely a face for radio. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you. Here we go.
You're so beloved.
Yeah. Cool summer morning. Finally done clearing. Does she have an update about the Klingel farm? Does the foundation own the Shriver House? No. How can we donate to the needs of the foundation?
Website.
Yeah. GettysburgFoundation.org.
Correct.
This is my first winter up north. Okay. Winter. Okay. What's the biggest challenge? The partnership of the park and foundation face this year? I think we kind of.
Yeah, yes, we did talk about that, but is the question generally about the challenge of the partnership itself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, or no, he said this year, but
this year.
Yeah. Well, what I'm curious, what is the challenge of the partnership itself?
Partnership itself is that I work on I want this now, and they work on we'll get this to you when we can get it to you. That's the biggest challenge, because, Klingel's a good example, right?
Yep.
That's been going on for a while, and we've done our part, and, to no fault of their own,
right?
Things take the time they take.
Yeah.
So it can be frustrating, right? As a donor, as somebody that's trying to be helpful, to not know what's going on. And I would like to know what's going on.
Do you get donors who are like, I gave money for the Klingel house. How come nothing's getting done? And do they ask for their money back?
To my knowledge, that hasn't happened yet. I think people generally understand that we work on different timetables. And if you're somebody who has ever worked with a government entity, you pretty much understand that it's going to happen when it happens and when they're ready to pull the trigger on it, because it's more than just one or two people making a decision. There's lots of people making decisions.
Yeah.
So,
Ken, he says, wait, where is it? I just lost it. Please tell Jackie it was great to meet her in Massachusetts last week.
Thank you, Ken.
Peter says, very cool. My friend has done a lot with 18th century mourning. And he also said, I think we need an episode on 19th century funeral processes. Would you be able to do that? Yeah?
Yeah, I would do that.
Okay, let's do that. I like that idea. Jackie and her Gettysburg Foundation are terrific.
Oh, thank you.
The Gettysburg Foundation does a lot of great work. And by the way, since this is only for the members, and not for the general public, I meant to say this actually during the show, but I wasn't sure how it would go over.
All right, I'm leaving now.
Well, no, you and I already talked about this at lunch regarding the winter lecture videos.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody in the audience, I know who it is, and I've seen last year. Now, last year it was appreciated. This year, doing it again, and it's not necessary now. Leaving comments like Addressing Gettysburg did this better.
Oh.
We don't need to do that anymore. I didn't need you to do it in the first place. I appreciate that you went and did it, but I want the record to show I did not put him up to that either year, this year or last. That was something he was doing on his own, I think, trying to
support you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I understand that and I appreciate it, but it is not necessary. As I said to Chris Gwynn the other day, all is right with the world. You guys should have been doing those videos for 15 years, as far as I'm concerned. And there shouldn't have been a void for me to step into.
Mm-hmm.
That you finally were like, hey, we're doing this. This is what we should be doing. I didn't like it at the time, but after a year, that's exactly where it should be. You are the parks partners. So, and frankly, I have my weekends back in the winter now, which I kind of liked how having like 2 months of 7-day weeks.
Yeah.
Because the winter flies by.
Yeah.
Next thing you know,
we were just saying it's been 3 months over these 3 weeks.
This has been the longest January in the history of the world.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So for the record, I'm glad you guys are doing the videos. And I'm going to give you a piece of advice.
Okay.
Don't title them the way you're titling them.
Okay.
You're titling them Gettysburg Winter Lecture Series and then the person's name.
Okay, but not the topic.
People aren't searching for the person, they're searching for the topic. The only one is probably Matt Atkinson. That's the only person people search for. Yeah. So you should rename him to the topic.
I will send that feedback to the person that can fix it.
And that is my proof that there are no hard feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Yes. Let's see. Please tell Jackie. There we go. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. This is a PC, and my other computer's a Mac, and I keep forgetting which way to wheel.
Yeah, my work is a PC, and my home is a Mac, and I just never know which way I need to be doing the fingers.
Drives me nuts.
Drives me nuts.
There's probably a way to make.
You can probably fix it, but
like make them both go the same way.
Yeah,
yeah, but I don't.
That would require taking time to do that, and. Not going to do it.
And I'm not going to do it.
Nope.
It's too annoying. How did the war impact those processes, especially with those who did not have the money to retrieve the bodies from the battlefield? You're talking about funeral processes, I guess?
Yeah.
Got a question? You got an answer to
that? Well, it depended. Well, one of my answers is that there's a lot of bodies on the battlefield that have not ever been collected.
Yes.
So that's one of the ways that it was dealt with, is that they just left the person there.
Left him.
There were some families that came back many months later when decay was certainly already taking place. And so what they were digging up and taking home was not what they would want to dig up and take home. So
can you imagine?
No.
But again, they're in touch with death more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure the smell of dead bodies is horrible no matter when you lived, right? So,
well,
what, you think it's nice?
It's actually like a sickly sweet smell.
That's what my grandfather said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a sickly sweet smell.
Yes.
You know when you are near a tree that's flowering and the flowers are overflowering?
Yes.
And it's just really, you're like, oh, that's it.
That ammonia smell, like when the calorie pears are blooming?
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's just this bizarrely sickly sweet, these flowers have gone too long smell.
Yeah. No, I do know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after some time, right, and when you're probably, it's more the bugs, I think, that would bother you than anything else. If there's.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
That is gross. Peter says, my dream job is to own and run a cemetery.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we know somebody who can manage it for you.
I talked to you all about that.
No,
it is a dream job, except people don't follow rules. Just like any other
Just
job.
like on a battlefield.
Right. And
are you talking visitors or? Oh,
no, even people coming to visit. Like, let's say a lot of cemeteries have rules, only fresh flowers, no fake flowers, or you'll say you can't put anything on the gravestone. We'll just throw it away. And so somebody's always mad at you.
Of course.
Because you have to realize when you're running a museum of dead people, all the people related to the dead people are very fragile. Mm-hmm. And you're never going to make them all happy. So if you like conflict, it's a good job for you.
Michael says, tell Jackie that I say thank you for coming to Waltham, Massachusetts last week. It was a great event that the foundation put on. So there's 3.
Oh, thank you, Michael.
So I knew of 2, Tim and Ken, that went because they drove together and they told me, but there's 3. Michael's another one. So Michael, did you know there were 2 other Gettys nerds there addressing Gettysburg people? I mean, let's see here. Oh yeah. 6 questions likes lectures. That's okay, Mike. It's okay. You can still like them. Let's see. Matt Gillespie says, in my walks, every man I meet is my superior in some way. And in that, I learn from him. Ralph Waldo Emerson.
That's a good one.
Very good.
Yeah.
That is very good. I like that. 6 questions. Lentz says, yes, the monuments are endlessly fascinating.
Yes.
So he's with you on that one. They are fascinating because they all have their own story.
And we have 2 living artists who did monuments on the battlefield that are still living. There's Gary Castile,
right,
who we know locally. Yep. And there's one other guy who right now his name's escaping me, who's amazing. And his name is Terry Jones. Terry Jones.
Is he the guy to the 11th Mississippi?
I don't know.
Mike would know this. 6 questions would know
But
this.
Terry took us on a tour. He took me and some of my board members in the fall on a monument tour to tell us about the designs and why certain artists chose certain things and how they got the commission. And it was fascinating. And there are some LBGs that that will do that too. Yeah. But Terry was one of the 2 living sculptors. So that was really cool to meet him.
Let's see here. Geology is a career with rocky prospects.
That's a good one. I should make a sticker and put that on his door at work. Right now, he's got a big sign that says the Brit Cave.
Oh, like the Bat Cave. Yeah. I like that.
So
split screen is working, says Ken. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah. Robert says, I like split screen. I don't know that the triple split is necessary. No, it's not necessary. I just got sick of the other one. And so I thought I'd change it there just to show you, because there's 3 angles that we use. Well, there's 4, this one back here.
Yeah.
But, I use 2 angles on the guest so that it's a little more interesting when they talk. And so I just thought I'd show you those here. Matt Gillespie thought that the guests were twins. Oh, that's funny. That's good. It sounds like we need to do more biography episodes. Yeah, we do. I do like those. Guides are fantastic. LBGs, okay. Let's see. Last but not lost. Late but not lost. Jackie was great in Waltham last week. There's another one. That's Tim.
Hi, Tim.
And so Grant, we answered that about law enforcement when the park is closed or the shutdown happens.
Yes, they're still there.
Another great interview. Did Jackie give you we already read that. Oh, okay. We read that there. How about the Custer at Gettysburg painting? The foundation do acquisitions? What?
Do we do acquisition? So we are not a collecting institution. We do not do acquisitions.
But if
we
somebody donated,
do raise funds for the park to acquire things.
Okay.
So if they came to us and said, we need to round out our collection and we need to purchase, like I know we bought a kepi earlier this year. We need to purchase these items. Here's what they're going to cost. We'll raise funding for that. And sometimes people will, make a donation to us and it's restricted for that purpose. Here's my $50,000. You can use it to buy things. And so we do. We have a fund that we use for that.
And you can fix the mouse wheel in your settings.
You can.
Yes.
You figured it out?
Well, somebody just said you can fix that in your settings.
I was like, wow, how did you figure that out intuitively? You just made it work.
No. Is there money available? This is Phil. He wants to know, is there money available to maintain the work that was done on Culp's Hill?
Yes, there is an endowment that was given by a generous donor for the Culp's Hill.
So what's the deal with that? Why are they not maintaining it?
Well, they get to decide when they deploy that money and when they do that work. So I will have to say again, they are underfunded and understaffed. And so.
But isn't the endowment to pay?
The endowment is to pay for the work, but they like to do the work themselves.
Well, I guess they'd have to, because their people would be able to do it a little more sensitively, right? Than just a landscaping crew coming through.
Yeah. But the money is there when they're ready for it. And actually, we have reminded them recently that money is there because that came up.
So maybe you can clear this up, because the word on the street is that the person who created the endowment was pissed and took the money back, or somehow made it so that the endowment isn't available anymore.
I don't know the full history on that, but we still have the endowment.
Okay, you still have it.
Yeah,
okay,
we still have the endowment. There could have always been some dynamic with that person, but
I'm sure there was.
Yeah,
but if you've heard that story, then now you know that the money is still in the hands of the people who will do the work once they do it. And can I just say, in a general sense, folks, and I'm guilty of this. We've all been a little critical of the park in the last few years. Beavers and not maintaining the clearings that were done 20 years ago and all that other stuff. But I have to tell you, at least in the last year or 10 and 11 months, they've kind of really been like in survival mode, right?
Yeah.
Where the least of their concerns are beavers. And it's really sad. They're like we're saying, like they don't know from day to day if they're going to have a job.
Yeah. And
there's so many different things that the government is requiring them. I'll give you an example. There were 4, I believe, new wayside markers that were put up in the last few years. All 4 of them had to be submitted to to Washington for review to see if they'll be allowed to stay. So I'm going to go and do a video of each of them and just, read the text or something like that. Very simple and basic thing, just so that there's record of them having been here in case they're ordered to remove them.
Yeah.
So like things like that, there's just a lot of stuff that is not part of what the Park Service employees normally had to do, that they've been having to do in the last year or so. And so I, for one, am going to I'm going to just bite my tongue when something comes up in a video where we've all been critical, especially the beavers. I think kicking a man when he's down is not as becoming as, punching the strong guy in the balls.
Yeah.
That's okay because he's the big guy. But the park is they're kind of getting kicked enough as it is, and I want to be a good neighbor. I don't want to be a thorn in their side. So I'm gonna, and I would just urge you all to err on the side of I don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes, but I'll take Matt's word for it, who has an idea of what's going on behind the scenes, and I will share it with you eventually. But I have to make sure I get all the information right before I do. It's nothing. It's not like, spilling CIA secrets. It's just that the park is not allowed to communicate to the public what the problems are.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Jackie would get in some kind of trouble if she did, because I'm sure you know what the problems are, but she can't say. But I have my ways, and you will know one day through my ways. Yeah, but who did them better? Stop. Stop. Speaking of acquisitions, who does that? Okay, we got that one. You can fix that in settings. Come into Saratoga to, are you going to other places besides Waltham, Massachusetts?
Yes, we have not finished our calendar for the year, but if there's a suggestion.
Put Saratoga on it.
Saratoga.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Another
Any other
historic
suggestions? Happy to take them. Right now, we're basing where we go off of where we know we have groups of members that maybe have not gotten enough love from us over the past post-COVID 4 or 5 years. So right now, that's kind of where we're focused, but there are lots of places we would like to go.
I think this is great that you're doing this, and of course, you hit them up for money at the end, right? Like, or membership, or are they already members?
Well, it's a mix. It depends. We invite some newbies. My philosophy is that I never ask somebody for money until I've had time to meet them.
Okay.
So
you do.
Well, yes, but that meeting, those events, I don't like them to be both a meeting and an ask unless it's somebody I've met before.
Here's what you do. Ready? Here's what you do. Get a little, like, what do they call that? Like the corrugated vinyl signs, right?
Yeah.
With a QR code on it.
Yeah.
And at the registration table, you just have it sitting there. Mm-hmm. Please donate, and don't put in all caps. Just very nondescript at the bottom.
Yeah.
That way, you don't have to ask. But if somebody's like, you know what, I want to donate more and everything, and they don't want to go and say, how do I do this or whatever? Yeah. Boom, there's a QR code, and they can take a picture of it right there. Well, and if they don't know what a QR code is,
we did have some things that they could, if they wanted to, they could have given us their information. They could have said, I want to give this much money, if they wanted to do that. What we focused on at this last event, which several of your viewers were in attendance, was actually 3 different projects that we're working on right now, 3 different funds that we're trying to push, because actually our field trip funding got cut. So we are building a fund for field trips. So that's one thing we were pushing. Then we were pushing leadership training for emergency service personnel. For our, we have I didn't even mention this. We have a higher ground leadership program.
Oh, yeah.
Should have mentioned leadership.
I
That's
meant
okay.
to bring that up.
But we're trying to open that up to fire and EMS and police and hospitals and groups that maybe not be able. We want to have the funds to pay for the program so they can attend it, like a grant kind of situation. And then the other one was for remembrance and illumination, so that we no longer have to ask people to send us $12 or whatever it is for a luminary. We can have that. Put together. So those were the 3 things that we were putting on the table in Boston and really in Waltham and uplifting. So there'll be something different every time. One of the things, fundraising is about inspiring people to want to give in a way that's meaningful to them, basically giving them joy out of giving to a cause. So I think one of the ways you can fail fast as a fundraiser is go in hot, make a general ask, and not personalize.
Sure, I agree, yeah.
You want to go in and you want to get to know someone and find out, wow, that person is a retired teacher. They maybe don't have a lot of funding to give right this moment, but maybe they'd like to give a planned gift to our field trip fund. So you want to personalize the ask. You figure out what a capacity might be. And so that's really where I'm coming from. These events are allowing us to have those conversations so I can go back to my desk and say, I talked to Mary, and Mary is somebody who wants to give to educational things. What do we have that's coming up? I know her capacity is this much. Let me ask and see what she says.
Yeah.
And the great thing about fundraising is a no is never a no. It's usually just not right now.
Yeah.
If somebody's really appreciative of the work that's being done, you're not always in the position where you can give.
Right.
But maybe you will be at a different time. So
that's true. That's very true. So Peter wants to know, can't the park hire a crew and then have one park service person just monitor the work? For Culp's Hill.
Can if they choose to do that.
Yeah.
It's
I
rare.
think the problem is, though, that they don't even really have the staff for that one person, right?
I believe their maintenance staff was cut down to 25% of what it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And you think about how many buildings are there on park property? 35, 40, 50, I don't know.
Something like that.
And all of them have to get something.
And would that be something that they would have a maintenance person go there for, or would they have like a interpretation person or interpretive?
Usually I've seen them work in groups.
So you'd have to have more than one park employee based on what their specialty is, because you'd need all of it in there if you.
Yeah, maintenance and preservation and interpretation might need to have a meeting and then have another meeting and then have a walkthrough and then.
Right.
So I'm not saying it's a no. I really don't know, but the way I've seen them work has been very intentional and methodical and involves several voices before they deploy.
It's very frustrating as a member of the public, Peter and everybody else and myself. When we hear all that, because if we would get fired in our jobs in the private sector, if we had to hem and haw over every decision that our bosses wanted us to make, right? While we're sitting there contemplating our navels, the problem isn't like paused. The problem is getting worse. And that makes for more work in the end. That's going to be more expensive and require more people. And if you don't have the money now, when you are given the money, right, you have the money, but you're not spending it now. And by the time you go, okay, let's do this, it might not be enough. I'm sure the endowment will be, but in a general sense, I'm speaking. And so, like, for people from the public, when they say, like what Pete did, was, can't you just hire a crew and have a park service? Yeah, that makes sense. In the private sector, we would do that, and it would be done in 2 months from the moment we recognize the problem. Yes, but that's not how government works.
Yeah,
and government is slow, and it's very frustrating for people like us. And I think with Gettysburg, so many of the members of the public, which of course is a tremendous minority compared to the overall population, but still, it is such a passionate minority that loves this place. And not only do we love it for the history, but there's the park level or layer of our love for it that is nostalgic to whatever our golden age was, right, of coming here. For me, it was 96 to like 2010. That was the golden age for me, that 14-year span. And I want everything to be that way. But I remember when I moved back in 2018, just the one sign to me that it was not my father's Oldsmobile was when I pulled back into town and the police went from going in 2010, they looked like Barney Fife. It was like Mayberry here, right? They were grayish, kind of brown and gray, almost looked like park ranger type uniforms, right? They were like, the kindly old dude down the street, and everything. And they had very easily discernible police cars. And when I came back, it looked like Judge Dredd. They were in black combat gear. And the cars were all remodeled with the paint and everything to be hidden. And I was like, this is, but that's across the country. That wasn't just Gettysburg. That was everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But that to me, because in my memory, this place was encapsulated. When I came back here and I saw how different things were in just 8 years, I was like, wow. This isn't the same. And from that moment on, like, no, it was familiar, but it wasn't familiar. And I had to relearn and get reacquainted with Gettysburg because it wasn't the Gettysburg I left. And quite frankly, it'll never be the Gettysburg I left. And it'll always, like, it'll always evolve like everything, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily like it anymore, but but I love it, if that makes sense.
You know, I went to I was given a talk at a local club recently, and this lady introduced me, and she said, "Jackie's here to make me love Gettysburg again."
Oh,
And I thought, what?
oh. Well, did she mean the town?
Yes, yes. She said
That'll never happen.
I know. She said and that's what reminds me. She said I've lived here for X amount of years, and I'm ready to go, and just it's not the town I remember. And
Yeah, but no town is. When I went to
Yeah.
my hometown after having lived here for 5 years, it wasn't my hometown either.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like a man without a home because I had nowhere to go where I could be like, I know this, but that's anywhere though.
I know.
If I stay here another 30 years, it's not going to be what I moved back to in 2018.
Nope.
That's life. That's how it goes.
The one constant change.
Yeah. The only way, and I'm considering this, if I win the lottery.
Okay.
The only way I can ever go to a place that'll never change is to buy a 60,000 acre ranch in the middle of Montana or Wyoming or Texas or something where I can't see my neighbors, where we'd have to take helicopters to get to each other quickly.
Wow.
Right? That's the only way I could ever live in a place that won't ever change. And you know what? Even still, it will change. I'll have to make improvements to the buildings on the property. There will always be change. That's part of life. You just have to get used to it.
I know.
I just don't want my views to change. If I like looking at a mountain on my ranch, I don't want it to change with a city in between me and the mountains. That's all.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all. All right, let's see. Sometimes parks just do without thinking too. Had to stop a few projects because of jumping the gun. So he's affiliated with a park up in New York State.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, everyone is managed differently, you know?
Yep.
That's the way it is. All right. I've taken enough of your time and the audience appreciates it. I appreciate it. Thank you everybody for watching and sticking around for the post-show questions. I'll keep doing this with our guests because I think it'll be a nice teaser for the freeloaders on YouTube to become patrons.
I like that.
That's what you could call people that go to all of your things but don't actually donate, you know?
Yeah,
The freeloaders.
the freeloaders.
It goes over really well with them.
Yeah.
They love that.
Love it.
Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye. All right, now, I have two things.